Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Great to have you here on our Friday review, one of my favorite ways to close out the week. Today, I'll be sharing with you some brand new books as well as some favorites from previous years. And it's my way to make sure that you've simplified your goal setting process for this new year to come. So I'll be sharing with you some of my favorite books. I'll be sharing with you different journals that I use to kind of put my thoughts out there. And then also journals that I may use on a daily basis that are more like a planner, but not everything goes into it. But it's actually simple things that just make sure that you are getting to your goals. So more on that to come. I also have two research studies for you, one on pesticides. So many people still believe that, and I don't know how, that somehow pesticides are really not that harmful. Well, I just want to share with you one study, not to scare you, but maybe just to reinforce. It's never a bad thing to kind of keep it in front of us, myself included, or share with some loved ones that, you really want to look at and pay attention to that clean 15 and dirty dozen. And if you don't know what the clean 15 and dirty dozen is, we'll try to link that up today at stephencabral.com/2149. So that's where all of today's show notes will be. stephencabral.com/2149. And I'll be sure to link up all of the books, journals, planners, and resources there as well. I'm going to also bring you a follow-up research study on reducing migraine frequency. This was an important one. Many people wrote in just appreciating that research, and so I'm happy to bring you that as well. All right, first things first, before we get to all that fun stuff, what I want to do is share with you what is going on right now inside of our practice. Keep in mind, this is going live. It's being released on Christmas Eve. So for me, Christmas Eve is one of my favorite days of the year. I love Christmas Eve as much as, maybe even more than Christmas because, again, like I still consider myself a kid at heart. I've always, I'm kind of one of those people that daydreams a lot, that, dreams about the future and tries their best to also, live in the present moment. But, it's just the anticipation that comes with it. And the reason why I've always loved Christmas Eve is because we get to see a lot of different family. And it is not necessarily about the presents on Christmas Eve. So it's about getting together. It's about enjoying a nice meal together. And typically I'm at my family's house, and then I'm also at my wife's family's house as well. And oftentimes the two families get together, which is amazing. I love that as well. But now it's taken on a new sense of meaning as well. And that's looking at now my daughters getting to anticipate Christmas Day the next day, but also getting to see their cousins the night before and just really live out that Christmas-based season and some of that holiday-based cheer. So that's just, it's a fun thing for me. It's a time to slow down. If there's any time that I slow down, it's certainly over this weekend. This is a weekend for me that's really special. I try to take some time off. Or not try to. I do take some time off, and I really just enjoy being with family, being present, not giving presents, although I do enjoy giving presents, but also just being there in the moment, knowing that this is this year's holiday season. And that sure, next year will hopefully be granted to us. But when I look at it, I say, you know what, let's take advantage of this time. Let's enjoy this time right now. And so especially Christmas Eve into New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, that whole week is a really nice time to just refocus, focus on your priorities, understand that the family, if you're fortunate enough to be able to have family, and if not friends, and friends count as well and all of that in your community, that this is a really great time to be able to reconnect with people, to just send them a text, to give them a phone call, to reconnect in some way and say, hey, let's keep in better touch over this next new year, or let's set plans to actually make that happen. So those are things that I like to do. And for sure. And then, of course, just enjoy the season, right? All of the good food and all of the fun that goes along with it. So that is that. What's going on over the Equal Life practice? Well, Right now, we know that January is the biggest time of the year for weight loss and body transformation. Nothing wrong with that either. People say, wow, I gained 5 pounds. I gained 10 pounds from, Thanksgiving or Halloween all the way to New Year's. Let's take it off. But this year, let's do it in the healthy way. So that's why we're offering you our entire Fatlossity system at 20% off each month on a subscription for life. So as long as you want to be using the Fatlossity system, which is it's the first 24-hour fat burning program. There's no hype behind it. And also, it's guaranteed. I just want you to know that. And it's backed by 25 clinical research science studies. It also has a half a dozen patented ingredients in it. So these are clinically verified to work. But it's not just the nutritional supplement part of it. It is the nutrition plan. It's the graduated exercise protocol. It's the support and so much more that goes along with it. So that's why we want you to try it out. Give it a shot. It's literally guaranteed. It's risk-free. And right now you get 20% off for life. Head on over to StephenCabral.com/Fatlossity. And that's FATLOSSITY. That is the trademarked name. Let's just make sure it actually takes you over there. StephenCabral.com/Fatlossity should send you right over to that Equal Life page. 94 5-star reviews right now. So check that out. Again, all of those are verified purchases. We don't manipulate ratings or anything like that. And I would just love for you to try it out yourself. Remember, this is the way to do it. I've talked about this on the definitive way to lose weight. If you didn't check out that podcast, please do. I mean, honestly, it's right on episode 2147. Just make it happen this year. If your goal is to lose 20 to 50 pounds or more, make it happen this year. And I outline the entire plan going through the 21-day stage and then through the next 12 weeks of weight loss and then what you need to do in order to maintain after that as well. So definitely check that out. That's at 2147. We'll try to link it up today at 2149. Speaking of podcasts this week, 2145, that was this Monday's show, the proven plan to achieve your goals. This is my updated version of the 12-week year. You know how much I love the 12-week year. I talk about it every single year, and I've been doing so for the last 4 years. Well, this year is no different because it is that perennial favorite. I haven't found anything better in my entire life. I've just simply tweaked it each year. I give you that update on 2145. StephenCabral.com/2146, the top antioxidant foods to consume daily. You don't need to consume all of them daily, but try to get a couple in every single day to help inflammation, to help aging, to help cancer, to help all of those mortalities or main factors for mortality in life. All right, yesterday's show was the New Year's weight loss goal achieved, or your New Year's weight loss goal achieved. And I talked about that on how to better ramp up that weight loss. No, that was not yesterday. I knew that wasn't yesterday's show. I apologize. That was slated to be yesterday's show. Yesterday was actually interrupted for a, not an emergency show, but so many people, and this was actually further, meaning I literally sat down the next day and did it. I met someone on an airplane and their wife is dealing with long hauler syndrome or post-COVID inflammatory syndrome. And so I stopped that show. We'll do that the next week. We'll do it next week. But I did a show for anyone suffering from brain fog, fatigue, exhaustion, exercise intolerance, inflammation, low mood, depression, etc. After overcoming a virus. So definitely check out that show. I really take it step by step and answer people's questions. So you can find that at StephenCabral.com/2148. And today's show is 2149. All right. So thank you so much for letting me give you all of those updates. Now let's go over my book picks of the week. And this week, I want to share with you again. I don't have it in this particular office. I have a couple offices. I've got my home is full of books, but obviously my favorite every single year is a book by Brian Moran. And it's called The 12-Week Year. If you haven't read it yet, make this the year, right? Read 10 pages a day. You'll be done with it in a month. That's it. That's all it will take. You'll be taking notes. You'll be getting excited about your New Year's goals. Check it out. The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran. I'm going to link everything up at StephenCabral.com/2149. So you only have to remember that link. All right. Everything will be there. I also did an interview with Brian Moran, the author of the book. So check that out. I'll link that up here today. So that's a favorite. Another one I want to share with you, though, is for all of the people out there. We have so many IHPs. We've got a lot of moms and a lot of dads in the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. They've either become or they are getting certified as a health coach. Now, they have a limited time during the day to be able to work a part-time job, but they want to make an additional income and they want to help people heal. They want to help others because maybe they went through their own health challenges and they want to give back. So they can work from the hours of like 9 to 12 or 10 to 2, somewhere in there, and they need help maybe designing their ideal schedule. I've already done an interview with Dave Ruel, who is the author, writer, publisher of the Ethic Journal as well, that I highly recommend. I'll be talking about that in just a moment. Well, he has a book. I don't think I was able to recommend it yet because he has multiple books, but here it is. It's called Done by Noon. If you don't know Dave, give Dave a shout out on Instagram. Let him know that I sent you over. Again, creator of the Ethic Journal. Done by Noon, how to achieve more by noon than other entrepreneurs in a full day. So that's what you really need to do. If you have a part-time job, you need to say, how can I focus my day so I can get more done in 3 to 4 hours than I could in an 8-hour day? Because let's be honest, right? Most people who have a job waste at least 1 to 2 hours a day. They're on social media, they take a longer lunch, et cetera, right? So trust me, you can get a whole job done. You can get a whole career done in 3 to 4 hours a day. There's just no doubt about it. So Dave actually gives you his Ethic Journal planner right in the back. So if you wanted to make photocopies, of course that you could, but I really recommend getting his Ethic Journal, and I'll link it up. The quarterly reviews, kind of how to rate yourself. I also put a bookmark in here as well on different schedules you could design for yourself. So Dave's the first one to tell you that it doesn't work just half a day, not just done by noon, but really what it means is that can you get essentially a full day's work done by noon? Like, can you wake up a little bit earlier, then have breakfast with the kids, then get work done after they go back to school? So, he gives you these sample schedules. So if you're watching this on video, you're able to see me holding that up. Again, you can just watch these videos on YouTube. We'd love you to subscribe, like the videos, of course, but you can watch these right at my website as well. So this will give you some samples. The book is about 250 pages long, pretty much the same as the 12-week year as well. You can read them both. That's the nice thing. Again, 10 minutes a day. You'll finish each book in 1 month. 10 pages a day. You'll finish each book in about a month. And if you do 20 pages a day, 10 of each, then you'll finish both, of course, in that same month. So I tell people that it takes about 30 minutes in a day to read 10 pages. So you can do 3 pages in the morning, 3 pages at lunch, 3 pages before bed, 10 minutes each time. Boom, you're done with a book a month. So that should be another goal you add to your list. All right. Couple journals that I want to recommend. So the first one is a plain old moleskin journal. That's it. So basically, it is a fake leather-bound journal, and inside of it are just lined pages. And the lined pages, and you can get it as graph paper, you can get it as blank pages, whatever you like. And for me, this is to journal ideas. It's to write down ideas. It can be ideas with my own health, my own diet. It can be ideas with relationships. It can be ideas of activities to do with my kids. I do all of those types of things in these types of journals. And sometimes I have a different journal for each one. So it'll be like a family idea. And this one will be a work-based journal. And whenever I have extra pages, I just kind of throw them in there as well. And then I copy them over. So I really like that. I've been using journals for a long, long time. I don't use them as diaries. I don't write down what happened in my day. I always think back and that would be kind of cool to look at, what I was thinking that day. But then I also realize I'll probably never read that. I'll probably never read some type of diary. And also I'm just not a diary type of guy. However, maybe you are. That's okay as well. Now, what I would say is this. There's a difference with the 2 planners that I'm going to recommend. One is called the Ethic Planner, and it's going to give you specific goals narrowed down on 1 page of paper in order to plan your day, check in on yourself if you're achieving those goals, and be able to make sure that you hit those goals each quarter or so. So that one's by Dave Ruel. I'll link that up. See which one you like, again, because you might prefer one to the other. The other one is called The Freedom Journal by John Lee Dumas. I've recommended John Lee Dumas' work for quite some time. John was also one of my mentors, my main mentor in podcasting. And he has a podcast called Entrepreneurs on Fire. And that's a nice podcast as well. That was the first daily podcast that I've ever heard of. And I said, well, if John's doing it every day, I can do it every day too. And so so that's kind of like following in his footsteps, right? He's always a good mentor in that way. Different topics, right? I do health and he does business, but a great show. So check that out. And his journal, he has 3 journals, but my favorite one to recommend is the Freedom Journal. It's basically 100 days. So it's a 100-day parameter, which is basically like the 12-week year, right? Just add another week or so, you have 100 days. So that's what I would do. I would pick up either the Ethic Journal or the Freedom Journal, and I would make this first quarter count. All right, those are my recommendations for this week. I'll link them all up. First research study this week that we need to get to. Again, not to scare you. It's not my job. I don't want to create fear mongering. We have enough of that in the media today. Certainly, I don't need to add on to that. But what I need everyone to understand is that pesticides are real. Environmental toxins are real, and they lead to disease. So I've talked about toxins and pesticides of how they lead to cancer and many other inflammatory issues, obesity, etc. But I want to talk about today, if you know anybody with kidney disease, right? Or if kidney disease maybe runs in your family. So they've shown right now, this was done in University of Queensland, right? So we see that it affects the entire world. And I believe in conjunction with the USA National Health and Nutrition NHANES, yes, examination surveys. So what they found is that nearly 1 in 10 people in high-income countries, we're not talking about, people that don't have good access to food or whatever it might be, show signs of actually kidney disease, which is permanent kidney damage and loss of renal function. This means leading to dialysis and many other health issues. This is very important and can't be taken too lightly. So at first it was thought to be exposed through certain maybe workplace toxins or even dehydration. But what they found is that, believe it or not, a lot of it's from pesticide residues on food and even certain herbs that are used as well. So herbal spices, food, like the ones on the Dirty Dozen, as well as herbal medicines. And that is why if you are using an herbal-based product, it should be by a company that does heavy metal testing. And that's again, pretty straightforward. So you can test for heavy metals. And the problem is, I really don't want to disparage any particular countries, but herbs from certain countries oftentimes have higher levels of lead and pesticides, et cetera. So I just wanted to share that. I think it's important just to go with a functional medicine-based company. All of them that I know do third-party testing. So again, I formulate for Equilife, but you might look at Thorne, you might look at Pure, you might look at Ortho, you might look at any of these great companies. So again, you don't have to just go with Equilife because I formulate and we do the third-party testing. But you do what you feel is best for you and your family. Just make sure though that you're getting herbs that are tested as well. Okay. The last one I want to give you is research on migraine frequency. And this is a follow-up because by popular demand, as they say. So what did I write as a title? More fish fat minus less hydrogenated oil equals less migraines. So that is what I'm titling this particular research. Excuse me, had to clear my throat there. This is through the NIH, National Institute on Aging. And it's looking at a diet in higher fatty fish help frequent migraine sufferers reduce their monthly number of headaches and intensity of pain compared to participants on a diet higher in vegetable-based fats and oils. I mean, that really tells you all that you need to know. Too many people in the world are using things like, I can't believe it's not butter, or nature's spread, or whatever it is made from hydrogenated soy and canola and corn and safflower hydrogenated oils, etc. And what we do know is those contain larger amounts of inflammatory omega-6s. Remember, not all polyunsaturated fats and omega-6s are bad for you. Too much polyunsaturated fats versus omega-3s is bad for you. Oxidized polyunsaturated fats are definitely bad for you. And the more you take in, the more prone you may be to migraines. So be very careful with all of the oils that you use in your diet. If you're using oils on your food, try to use them as more of a dressing. Don't cook with them. And that would be an olive oil or maybe an avocado oil. There's a couple others that are okay as well. And that's if it's not a saturated fat. But again, I don't think we need to overdo saturated fats as well. So when we look at it though, we can look at fish fat, which can be a polyunsaturated fat, It has different types in there, but we're looking at an actual higher omega-3 fatty acid. And this works with vasodilation. This works with better blood flow. This works with less inflammation. You have to understand, there's a lot of people talking negatively about omega-3s lately. They just don't read the scientific research. They just lump omega-3s as a polyunsaturated fat. In the mantra, all polyunsaturated fats are bad. And I'm telling you right now, people just don't do the research, because if you did the research, you'd see probably over 10,000 studies on omega-3s now. And it's just scary that you can post anything you want on the internet and people are like, oh yeah, omega-3s are now bad. When did this happen? How did this happen? And it happens. One, yes, there are some bad omega-3 companies out there. And again, if you buy your omega-3s at Costco or the same place you buy your paper towels or toilet paper, you're probably not getting a good nutritional supplement, right? Don't buy your supplements where you get your toilet paper. That's kind of rule number one with your buying of supplements, right? Try to get them as an actual quality of source. But also, you can get omega-3s from oily fish if you want. It's just most people are not willing to eat the top fish that are in omega-3, which are mackerel, they're anchovies, they're sardines, they're trout, and they're wild salmon. And if you're not willing to really eat those, then you probably need to balance your omega-6s with some type of good quality daily omega-3 support. But again, I'll leave that up to you. What I want to share with you, though, is that the science is in, and it's been in for a long time, that these anti-inflammatories, and omega-3s have been shown to do that, can help with a lot of issues in life, and one of those are migraines. Now, this is pretty amazing that, let's see here. There was I'm going to link here. I don't want to get too deep in the research unless people are really interested in the migraine-based space, but the actual reduction is pretty pronounced. Just adding fatty fish in reduced total headaches by about 30 to 40%. And severe headaches went down dramatically compared to the control group. So, I mean, these are pretty fantastic studies. And that's just one thing. Again, I'm not saying that that's the underlying root cause of everyone's migraine. It's just one cause. But if this can help and balance overall inflammation in your body, I don't see why we can't do it, right? It's part of an overall healthy diet in the first place. That's what we call it, a foundational-based product. So hopefully this was helpful. I'm going to add all of these research links, all of the journal links, all of the planners, all the books, everything today at stephencabral.com/2149. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. And before you go, I want to make sure that you know about the absolute best way, guaranteed way, and proven way to take the weight off safely and effectively. So if you've not heard yet about Equalife's Fatlossity system, I cannot recommend it enough. Right now, we are heading into the time of the year where people want to recommit to their goals. And how I look at it is this, that the number one thing that you can do for really long-term health and longevity is to maintain a healthy weight. And that is because extra weight, 20 plus pounds in your body, leads to greater chance for type 2 diabetes, greater chance for heart disease, greater chance for blood pressure and stroke, as well as a greater chance to develop cancer. So my goal is to get people healthier, and losing the weight is one of the fastest ways to do that. That is why we spent 18 months developing the first ever day and night fat loss formula. This is backed by 25 clinical studies with patented ingredients proven to burn more body fat. Plus, it's not just the nutritional supplements. It comes with the phase 1, 2, and 3 nutrition plan that allows you to lose weight at your desired effect. When you look at the actual labels in the ingredients, you will see all of the science that has gone into it. You're going to see things like Capsamax. You're going to see thyroid-based boosters. You're going to see dopamine boosters. You're going to see blood sugar balances. You're going to see estrogen blockers and so much more. The benefit also is that the AM formula boosts energy all day long. And then the PM formula actually helps you to burn fat overnight, as well as get into a deeper sleep while regulating healthy levels of blood sugar. Again, I can't recommend enough, and that is why we are guaranteeing that it works for you. There's literally no risk to you, and we're offering you 20% off on all subscriptions for life right now. That means use it for however long you need it, and you get 20% off each and every month. We priced this at the lowest possible price in the first place, and now we're taking off another 20%. And that is because we want more people to be able to achieve their health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging goals. For all of the details, head on over to stephencabral.com/shop or directly to the Fatlossity page at stephencabral.com/Fatlossity, and that's FATLOSSITY.